Life can sometimes feel like a very heavy backpack. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. Each morning, Sarah woke up and her mind would start to fill. She thought about her job. Would she do well? Would her boss be happy? She thought about her family. Were they okay? Did they need her help? Even small things like the news on the radio or a long line at the grocery store could add another little stone to her backpack of worries. It felt like so much to carry all by herself, every single day. These worries were like clouds covering the sun in Sarah's heart. She often felt tired, not just in her body but deep inside. Sometimes the weight made it hard to smile. It made it hard to enjoy the good things around her, like a warm cup of tea or a kind word from a friend. The future felt a bit scary, like a path she couldn't quite see clearly. She wondered if everyone else felt this way too, or if she was the only one struggling under such a heavy load. It was a lonely feeling carrying all those concerns. Sarah longed for a little bit of peace. She wished she could just set down her heavy backpack of worries even for a little while. She wanted to feel lighter, to breathe easier. She saw other people who seemed calm and happy, and she wondered what their secret was. Was there a special place to find rest? Was there someone who understood how heavy these everyday burdens could feel? She hoped there was, but she wasn't sure where to look for it, or how to even begin searching for that kind of quiet in her soul. One quiet afternoon, as rain tapped gently on her window, Sarah felt particularly overwhelmed. The list of things to do and things to worry about seemed endless, stretching out before her like a long, dark road. She sat in her favorite comfy chair, but even that didn't bring much comfort today. Her heart felt heavy, like a stone sinking. It was in this moment of deep weariness that she remembered an old book, one that had sat on her shelf for a long time, mostly unread. It was a Bible, a gift from her grandmother. Sarah reached for the old Bible. Its pages were thin and the cover was soft from age. She opened it, not really knowing what she was looking for. Her eyes fell upon some words that seemed to jump out at her. The words were simple, yet they felt powerful. They said, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." This was from a part of the Bible called 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. She read it again, slowly, letting the words sink into her tired mind like gentle rain on dry ground. What did these words mean? Cast all your anxiety on him. It sounded like taking that heavy backpack of worries she was carrying and giving it to someone else. Someone strong. Someone who could handle it. And the reason? Because he cares for you. It wasn't because she was good enough or strong enough on her own, it was simply because God cared. This idea was new to Sarah. The thought that the great God of the universe would care about her small everyday worries was almost too much to believe, yet it felt so hopeful. A tiny spark of warmth flickered in Sarah's heart. Could it be this simple? Could she really give her worries away? She thought about a very heavy suitcase. If someone stronger offered to carry it for her, wouldn't she let them? This felt similar. The Bible was saying God was offering to carry her anxieties. For so long she had tried to manage everything by herself, to be strong and independent. But maybe, just maybe, it was okay to admit she needed help, and it was okay to accept it. So, right there in her comfy chair, with the rain still tapping outside, Sarah decided to try. She closed her eyes. She thought about one specific worry that had been bothering her all day, a difficult phone call she needed to make. Quietly, in her heart, she told God about it. She imagined handing that worry over, like a little stone from her backpack. It felt a bit strange at first, but as she sat there she noticed something. Her shoulders felt a tiny bit lighter. The knot in her stomach seemed a little looser. It was a small change, but it was there. As Sarah continued to explore the pages of the old Bible, another verse caught her attention. This one was from Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. It said, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." This verse spoke directly to how Sarah often felt, weak and unable to cope with all the demands of her life. She often felt like she didn't have enough energy or courage to face the challenges that came her way each day. This feeling could be very discouraging, making even small tasks seem like giant mountains to climb. These words offered a different way to think about her abilities. I can do all this. It didn't say some things, or easy things, it said all this. But the important part was how. It wasn't through her own power or her own cleverness. It was through him who gives me strength. This meant that the strength she needed didn't have to come from inside herself alone. It could come from God. It was like having a secret helper, a source of power that she could tap into whenever she felt overwhelmed or incapable of handling things. Sarah thought about her upcoming week. There was a presentation at work that she was very nervous about. There was also a tricky conversation she needed to have with a family member that she had been putting off. Before, these things felt impossible, like huge waves ready to crash over her. But now, with this verse in her mind, she wondered if she could face them differently. If God could give her strength, maybe these tasks wouldn't be so terrifying. Maybe she could find the courage she needed. She decided to put this verse into practice. The morning of her presentation, she felt the usual nervousness bubbling up, but she remembered the words, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." She took a deep breath and quietly asked God for that strength. As she stood up to speak, she still felt a little nervous, but underneath it, there was a sense of calm, a feeling that she was not alone in this. The presentation went better than she expected. It was still challenging, but she felt a steadiness she hadn't experienced before. Sarah's journey with the Bible didn't stop there. She kept reading and she found more words that brought comfort and light. One day, she read a promise from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." These words were like a warm hug for her heart. They spoke directly to her fears about what tomorrow might bring, and the uncertainty that often clouded her thoughts. The meaning of this verse was so encouraging. God had plans for her, and not just any plans, but good plans. Plans to help her, not to hurt her. Plans that included hope and a good future. This didn't mean that life would always be easy, or that she would never face difficulties, but it did mean that even in the hard times, God was working, and his ultimate goal for her was good. This was a powerful thought. It meant she didn't have to figure everything out on her own, or worry that she was heading in the wrong direction. This understanding brought a deep sense of peace to Sarah. Her worries about the future didn't disappear completely, but they became much smaller. They no longer had the power to steal her joy or fill her with dread. She started to trust that even if she couldn't see the entire path ahead, God could. And he was guiding her along a way that was ultimately for her good. This trust was like an anchor for her soul, keeping her steady even when the storms of life tried to blow her off course. Sarah's life didn't magically become free of all problems. She still had challenging days, she still faced difficulties. But something fundamental had changed within her. Her heart was different. She had discovered a source of comfort, strength, and unwavering hope in the words of the Bible. Those verses were like little lights illuminating her path day by day. She learned to cast her anxieties on God, to draw strength from him, and to trust in his good plans. Sarah was no longer walking alone with her heavy backpack. She was walking forward with a lighter step, her heart filled with a quiet, steady hope.